net ons beste voete voor aan my. Daar's dinge wat ons nie op social media gaan sit nie, want ons is eisters, maar ons is net mens. Luister hierso, my ma en pa is mos baie gevaarlike mense gewees, en hulle het gesê, jy deel nie jou hele besigheid in die straat nie. Jy hang nie jou hele was goed op social media nie. So, ons doen wat ons doen, met wat ons het, en ons gebruik ons stemme. As kinders het ons saam gespeel, as mense het ons saam gesing, ons sien mekaar net op die screens, ek dink aan ons reality. As kinders het ons saam gespeel, as mense het ons saam gesing, ons sien mekaar net op die screens, ek dink aan ons reality. Kan nie slaap, die wat is letter die, laat gaan, maar is dieper as my ziel. Kan nie slaap, die wat is letter die, laat gaan, maar is dieper as my ziel. Ons zoek joy, 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 joy. Ons zoek joy, 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 joy. Give me joy, 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 joy. Give me joy, 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 joy. Ladies, let your success make the noise.
Just don't inform, we educate and entertain.
Bij de disco, zeven mijn bodem in te zek.
Hola, hola, hola. Hey, bro. Bet you black sheep. No, I'm call. Nah, Brabi the vocalist. Yeah. But you don't get rook 017. Yay! When
DJ Shoza featuring Brabi, the vocalist, Black Sheep and Gaza. Moro to Informanté live. Moro Koffie.
Môre Nevi, hoe gaan dit?
Ja, ons is alright my broer. Hoe lyk die dinge?
Dinge lyk heel alright. Bietjie koelerig vanoggend, but ja.
I have no qualms about a little bit of cool weather.
Yes, I know, because we know ons gaan dan blerrie warm kry dan die volgende paar weke.
Dit kom, nee? Dit kom. What do we have in the news this morning, Koffie?
Well, we've got quite a number of topics, so let me give it to you.
Daar's hy.
Informanté News. Firm but fair.
This is Informanté Live, and these are our top stories. The Rundu Beach, a popular leisure area, might be turned into a no-go zone as crocodiles continue to attack residents who are forced to use water from the river due to the lack of the vital resource in the town for the past couple of months. Residents have been flocking to the river to fill up water containers and wash. The spokesperson of the Ministry of Environment, Forestry and Tourism, Romeo Muyunda, has strongly discouraged people from swimming, bathing or washing their clothes in the river as they are putting their lives in danger. People who are opposing the COVID-19 vaccines are as wrong as those who in the early 1970s opposed the vaccination of livestock. This was said by Lieutenant General, who's retired, Martin Shali, in a recent interview with Informanté. General Shali, who served as chief of the Namibian Defence Force between 2006 and 2011, has come out in support of the mandatory vaccination order issued recently by Air Marshal Martin Pinas, the current NDF chief. And finally, the National Union of Namibian Workers, the NUNW, has sought legal advice on the mandatory vaccination for all employees of the National Petroleum Corporation of Namibia, NAMCOR. Metcalf, Beerker's attorneys, has been appointed to question the constitutionality of NAMCOR's move to institute mandatory vaccinations on all its workers. Earlier this month, NAMCOR gave its employees until the 19th of November to get their first or second dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. In an executive order dated the 1st of October, Managing Director Emmanuel Mulunga said NAMCOR receives the right to protect its employees, therefore they should get vaccinated. Your Trustco share price today, the 26th of October, is at $2.21 per share. Taking a brief look at the financial indicators, the Namibia dollar is trading against the US dollar at 14 Namibia dollars and 70 cents, against the euro at 17 Namibia dollars and 10 cents, and against the British pound at 20 Namibia dollars and 20 cents. This is Informanté Live, and these were our top stories. You can find more on our website, which is informanté.web.na.
Informanté News. Informanté News. Firm but fair.
1894 saw a great need for general goods and equipment being brought in from Europe, and thus Vermonobrock was established. Now, 127 years later, we still aim to provide you with an affordable variety of products at easily accessible supermarkets along the coast and in the north of Namibia. Your Verman, your specials, your supermarket.
So is it Verman or Voerman?
Verman.
Huh?
Verman.
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 We've been saying
Verman.
Ja. You
Ons sê Voerman.
Hulle sê die boere Voerman. Omdat dit lees soos Voerman.
Yeah.
But in German it's Verman.
It's Verman.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's Verman Brock, né? It's not Voerman en Brock.
Is nie Voerman en Brock nie.
Nee, it's Verman Brock.
Verman Brock.
Yes.
we
Okay.
learn something new every day.
Yeah, I normally buy my whenever I'm in Swakop.
Right.
Verman Brock Venita.
Yes.
That is my place of shopping.
Aha.
Yeah, that's where I do my shopping.
So when we come for Christmas lunch, all of us, the viewers and the listeners,
Yes.
to the Basson's house, we
Yeah.
know exactly where you got the food from.
Jy is doodreg. Koffie, hoe lyk ons coronavirus syfers vandag?
Okay, coronavirus cases, 128,849 registered cases. We trust that we might not see the 130,000 mark by the end of the year because, the active cases are rather low. So we've recovered of the 128,849, we've recovered 124,447. with a total number of deaths 3,550. Active cases currently in Namibia 852. Daily new cases 25, and the deaths at 0. No, good news.
Not in my lifetime I thought we'll get to 800.
Yeah.
But we are here.
But we are here.
Cool, man.
Okay, and then looking at the weather today, the 26th of October, a warning: rain will spread further into the interior by Wednesday, where heavy storms are most likely in the Omaheke region and the Tsompwe constituency. The interior partly cloudy and hot in the north, with a few to isolated thunder showers in the northeast. Elsewhere sunny and hot to very hot. Windy conditions will persist. The coast partly cloudy and cool with the coast partly cloudy and cool to mild, with fog patches at first. The wind moderate to fresh southwesterly.
Luister koffie. Hierdie ding wat ons babbelas kom die weer kom doen. Dit werk nie so nie.
I try to, but I'm distracted. I'm distracted by Maria's eye-blinding beauty.
Oh, het jy gehoor, Maria?
Scoring brownie points, no?
Ja.
Okay. Maximum temperatures for the day in Windhoek today 30, in Swakopmund 22, and Walvis Bay also 22. Going to the Zambezi area, 36 in Katima Mulilu. Then going over to more the western parts, in Umuthia 36, Ondangwa also 36, Oshakati 36, Opuvu 36. Otjiwarongo 35, then going down to Rehoboth 31. Keetmanshoop today 36, with Naminuis at 23. To the east of the country, in Gobabis today 34 degrees Celsius.
34 grade in Gobabis.
Yes, so yeah, it's hot in certain areas, 36 maximum.
Yeah.
But it's actually quite aangenaam.
So the rain that Tuva, the rain that you said will not be coming this weekend, we maintain that status quo or quo.
Yes.
Status quo.
Yeah. I'm not the one who's saying it. Is this professional? Yes, it said there's not going to be rain on Saturdays. This is Windhoek, by the way. This is from Windhoek.
Yeah, no, we only interested
else,
in Windhoek for now.
So Thursday there's a 40% chance rain. Wednesday is cloudy. Thursday 40% chance rain. Friday sunny. Saturday sunny. Sunday sunny. Maybe it's an opportunity to go away.
Nee.
Volgens middag.
Hallo.
Hallo.
Oh, okay. Oh, jy het nog zaktyd het. Nee,
Yes,
zak is
al die
klaar.
ryk mense.
Ja, al die ryk mense.
Thank you very much. Have
Koffie,
a fantastic day.
vielen Dank. Thank you so much for giving us the news and the weather and our daily coronavirus update. Just a few comments here. Stefanus James Ananias, Moro MMC en Topfans. Nou die rooi banner, hy sê The Morning Mix begin vanaf 8 uur. Balance me please. Ja. Stefanus James, ja, you know what, as a shareholder of the show, you have every right to be asking that question. Nee, hulle het nie Jenny, but it's a fair question to ask. Nee, ons het nie Jenny, ja. Stefanus, yeah, we will fix that and then we will come back to you as to the exact time that we will confirm as to when our show starts. But it's a fair question. Taishon, Maria is op Joe, die bucket head, nee? Ja.
Wat van die buckethead?
Nee, hy sê die bucket head. Yeah, that's all. Yeah. Sylvia Wakumbwa, what is the topic for today? Say J from Sylvia, what is the topic for the day? Julle wil net kos hê, maar julle wil nie self kos maak nie. Julle moet begin ook kos maak hierso. Good morning Kuno, Varora, good morning Estomich, morning you all. I see Oktoberfest got coffee good. Coffee, wake up. Ek sê mos hy deed is babbelas vandag. Ek sê. Yeah, so Tuva, how was your night? You had a good night's sleep?
Moet ek my buckethead afhaal?
Jy lyk snacks. Regtig maar. Haal net hy hoed af.
I thought
You either keep the not put on the headphones or you take the bucket head off. Yeah, no. I say.
Dat mens so swaar kry.
Ja. I love bucket hats.
I love bucket hats.
I say again.
You used to have a profile picture on your WhatsApp with a bucket hat. I think you're in Cape Town or something.
Now that was Joburg.
Or was that Joburg?
It was at yeah, that was in Soweto. I think it was at Panyaza. Yeah, that's where I took that picture. Yeah. Sylvia Wakumba, Yamos Malume, give it to us. Magda Tadese, what language to be called yours? Huh? What? What no? Deskutsie, Neville, wees gauw weer voor ons hoe dans jy op grondpaaie. Los my uit asseblief. Moenie begin nie. Moenie begin nie. Moenie begin nie. Yeah, so it is, what's today's date? It's
26th.
Tuesday, the 26th of October.
It's a nice weather outside.
Yeah, it's a nice weather. I'm so much looking forward to tomorrow. My son is turning 23 years old tomorrow.
Ooh.
Yeah, ek het groot kinders. Ek het groot kinders. So, yeah, but he must get bigger and better so that he can leave my house. That's all I'm looking forward to. Klaar.
Do you know, like, a lot of like couples, married couples, they get divorced during the empty nest.
Woo.
This is like scientific proof. Like during the empty nest is when the last kid leaves the house. And then couples realize that they were so busy taking care of kids that they actually have nothing in common.
That's bad, eh?
Yeah.
That's bad.
It's unfortunate. Imagine you're going through a cycle of like for 18 plus years, because obviously the first one is 18, and let's say you have another one, add on to that another 2 to 3 years difference. Yeah. So maybe for a good 25 years, you are just racing to get the youngest out of the house, right? And after 25 years or 26 or 27 years of marriage, maybe you waited for a year or two before you had your kids.
Yeah.
You look at your wife, or your wife looks at you. And you're like, okay, with us not taking care of the kids, like,
what?
Who are we and what are we, and do we have anything in common?
You know what, Tuva? And then I suddenly realized that I hate your guts. I don't like you.
Yeah, I just realized I think you're a good mother to my kids.
Yeah.
But I actually don't like you very much.
I don't like you. I can't
I'm
relate
not
to you.
attracted to you.
Not at all.
Yeah.
And it's one thing that I always told Mevrouw for the longest time. She sometimes hated it because she's so attached to her children. Yeah, her children, not my children. And I kept on telling her, listen, at least once a year, ek en jy cheap. Don't you tell me about kom die kinders saam or whatever. There's, and it's something that I started probably about 5, 6, 7 years ago. And the kids hated it every time that I take their mother away from them. And dan dodge ons net vir 'n paar dae, we just fly somewhere without them. And at first when we did it, I could sense, because we've always been with our kids all the time, that uneasiness, if it's just you and me, it's not ek en jy. We talk through the kids, you talk to me through the kids, gaan sê jou pa, gaan sê jou ma, so. But it got better the more that we spend time alone with each other. Because by the time, like you say, when they leave home,
you still are in love with your partner.
I need to be able to know whether I can relate to yourself or not.
And kids are manipulative in a sense that they pit parents against each other. And I remember this controversial interview on Oprah Winfrey when she still had the show, right? The Oprah Winfrey show. And she had a woman on that had written a book. And the woman got so much slack because what she said is, while a lot of couples put their kids first, in their home, they put each other first. The kids are secondary. So she says, I put my husband first, the kids are secondary. And the audience was like, oh, you can imagine it's mothers and fathers like, how could you? The kids are supposed to be the number one priority. And he says, no, my kids can never be the one priority because if I prioritize the kids, then I neglect my marriage, then the kids are going to suffer in the end. So I need to make sure that my husband is my number one priority and that things they are in order. And when I find that when we are aligned, everything else falls into place, including the kids. So I remember also disagreeing with her, but I think the older I get, I'm like, I kind of understand what she meant. I think a lot of us just really, whether it's husband or wife, we do put the kids first. It's the kids over the wife, the kids over the husband. And then the kids grow up and have their own lives. And that's where the evil stepmother, mother-in-law, evil, because she has no life of her own. She's so invested in her kids that now that they have their own family, she's trying to squeeze there as well, But she doesn't have, or he doesn't have a life outside of the children. It's mostly the she, by the way. So I think it's interesting. And so would you guys put your partners before your kids?
Good question.
Would you? Do you?
I always tell my children.
Ayanda is the top of the chain.
Ooh, Here, moenie begin nie asseblief. I always tell my kids, and they are sick of me saying it, but I'll keep on drilling it into their heads, especially in the heads of my boys, because I want them to have the same principle. I keep on telling them the biggest present I can give you as a father is that I love your mother.
Yes.
That is the biggest present a man can give to his children if you love their mother. Because it becomes easy if you love the mother.
Yeah.
If you want to be with the mother, you'll take care of the mother and the mother will take care of the kids.
Yeah, everything falls into place.
It just falls into place. But if I hate your guts, Maria, everything falls apart at home.
Yep.
That's just how it goes.
Yep.
So I have the same principle there. I tell my kids, and we've had these discussions before, you shall not get the gold medal.
Yeah.
Mama kry goud, julle kry silver.
Yeah.
It's klaar. That's just how it goes.
Yeah.
And it's the only way that I think that you can really, healthily maintain a good
Family
home
setup and
environment.
dynamic,
That's just how it goes.
Ja, né?
In the news today.
Voor ons aangaan, kom ons lees net 'n paar comments.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are there comments? Okay.
Yeah.
Lees toch asseblief.
Franco Jose says, partners before my kids once they all turn 18. From there, invest in your partner as time will be ticking before you perish. But isn't it then too late of an investment? You're waiting for
still
18 years to put your partner first. That's going to be very difficult because
Will it last?
Yeah, and also the habits, right? We're creatures of habits. For 18 plus years, you've been putting your kids first, and now you have to switch your mind to put your partner first. It's not altyd so maklik nie. And then, okay, Vedi is talking about that, which she just said, but I've been thinking about this. Do we say it's a nice weather or the weather is nice today? It's actually the latter. Just wondering, since BMW is back this side, hey, baby making weather.
Oh!
I will keep hearing it's a nice weather. It's a nice weather is wrong, guys. Not proper English. And then Vedi again says, what does it mean for divorced partners or separated parents? Shem.
Huh?
What does it mean for divorced parents or separated parents? I don't really.
Are you asking? Should you put your kids first?
Or you mean if you're divorced? Of course, if there's no partner, your kids are going to be a first priority.
Yeah.
But I also feel like, I think that's also a fundamental. I think even if you're like as a single mother, what I've tried to do is put myself first. Because there was a time I realized like I was trying to be super mom and I didn't even have a nanny. I was doing, for whatever reason, I had this notion that I could do it by myself. And I was just, and I did it because if you want to, you will, right? Take the kids to crash, take them, take them to school, take them to activities, after school or activities, take them to after daycare, after my work, pick them up from the daycare, go home, cook, feed them, try to fit in the gym, bathe them, put them in bed, and then only I have time for myself. And on weekends, obviously, it's just family time. I didn't have time. Just on and on and on and on. And
Slap.
yeah, and I realized there was a time after maybe doing it for a good 3 or 4 years, I was like, but who am I outside of my kids? I've invested all this time in, putting them, making sure that they're fine, but like I've kind of neglected myself. Like I don't go out with my girlfriends anymore. I'm not going on solo trips. Everything's just about the kids. And I had to be like, I said, cake is all. I'm getting a nanny. I'm gonna take some me time. I'm gonna get in a live-in nanny as well. I got in a live-in nanny, so I can also go to the gym in the afternoon and just have time for myself. And now we have like a bikkie gaan.
Yeah.
Chill met die chommies.
Yeah.
Play days.
Play days.
But I just realized like I was less, because during those, even though I was doing everything right, there were times when I was like, I would take out some of my stress and aggravation on them because I didn't have anybody else.
Yeah.
So if I'm having a bad day, that translated.
And Jella, you in this house.
Yeah.
Ek is moeg.
Why does, something's more like a sock on the floor, but I have to clean up after you because I've had a bad day. So now they're feeling that the effects of that. And then I realized like once I started kind of just putting myself first, making sure I was happy, having solid friendships, starting even romantic relationships and stuff like that. I started finding that I was a better mother. Even my daughter was like, oh, you're always happy these days. I'm like, yeah, of course I'm happy, But that's what it is. So if you're a single parent or a divorced parent, it's also like, no necessarily put the kids first. I feel like put yourself first. And that will fall into place.
I think what we talk about here sort of flows into asking the natural questions, like you who have been single for a while. You have 2 kids of your own.
Yeah.
Frank has got kids of his own, and how you guys relate to each other as to kids. There's a strong level of maturity, from your side towards his kids, and he in turn
Vice versa,
towards your kids.
Yeah.
I think it becomes very problematic if that is not established very early in a relationship. Because I think what was important for me and Mufro when we met each other years ago, when she had a 3-year-old son and I had a 2-year-old son, they are 23 and 24 today, that she needs to understand that, you know what, this is my boy. You either accept him with me.
We come with a package.
We come with a package, and I will accept your boy. I remember when I asked her to move in with me years ago, and she wanted to leave Emilio with her mother. And I told her, nee.
We're a family.
Nee, maar jy mos nou nie, ek weet nie if you're going to accept my son. Ek sê, hey, if I can't accept your son,
That I'm not the man for you anyway.
then I'm not the man for you.
Yeah.
So he's 24 years old today. I've
Happy
been,
birthday to him.
yeah. So no, not today.
Oh, okay. I thought it says
Happy
birthday. It says happy English. It's 24 today.
En sê ons se taal nie. So all I'm just saying is that, you know what, that needs to be established probably very early in the relationship. That you know what, I come with a package, you come with a package. There needs to be.
No, we are a package, yes.
Yeah.
And further to that, there's another element that a lot of people do. For example, when Frank's kids are not there, and it's obviously me and my kids and him, you need to remember now it's a 3-1, right? It can feel like Gella's da, ek is hier, right? So it's also equally important for the person at the time, and obviously vice versa when his kids are here. You don't want to make it feel like there's an imbalance, like, is jy en jou kinders en ek?
Yeah.
Of is ek en my kinders en jy?
Yeah.
You, as much as it's understanding that a package, is also how the other trick is, how do you make it a unit?
Yeah.
So that there's no this feeling of that's jou kinders.
Yeah.
Ja, jou kinders sal jou kan vat.
Yeah.
Of jy wil net met jou kinders gaan. You know, you still, there's also a trick there in trying to make it a unit, and it's not always like as easy, especially when, as like I said, we're creatures of habit. Sometimes you forget. But it's just like being like aware of the dynamics and trying to just integrate the whole family so that it feels like a unit. It has to feel like a unit.
As long as you and Frank will be a couple, and if you know what, it depends on what your life decisions are, whether you're going to spend the rest of your life together or not.
No, that's the plan.
Yeah, you understand? So I believe your kids will be asked questions about Frank a lot from here going forward. Is that your father? Is that your father?
They've gotten
Is that
it.
they've gotten it
they've
already.
Gotten it. I think the difference with my kids and his kids is mine are still young,
Yeah.
so they'll be like, no, it's not my father,
Yeah.
like very
Yeah.
easily, because kids are kids.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. Very
His
self-righteous.
His kids are different because also always assume I'm their mother.
Yeah.
With them is they just don't answer.
Oh, okay.
Like, oh, where's your mom? And or sometimes, oh, she's coming. They don't necessarily respond to it like, oh, that's not our mother, I think for them, there's a little bit more tact in how they respond versus how the younger ones respond, we've seen. So, yeah, I guess.
Because I guess for my kids, and the reason I'm asking that is because, my kids were obviously the first two, went through a barrage of questions being asked by
the
their peers. Yeah.
Clearly very colored and one is
Yeah. Verstaan jy? So their friends would like ask Emilio, no, is it your toppie day? Ja, maar is dan 'n dakkie? Ek sê, hey, and he would get pissed off and say, hey, it's my pa day, okay? I've known no other father except him. And obviously, if you look at my son, and you look at Mevrouw, they also look different because you know what, and it's unfortunately, and I have to say this, as much as I move amongst the colored community, and those are also part of my people. But if there's one element of the colored community that always pisses me off, and they've known that very, very early in our relationship, is when I'm with my son, which is Emilio. I don't have a stepson. It's a bullshit semantic that was brought here by whoever.
Divide,
it's my son. So when colored people would always look at me, yes, Neville. So okay, daai drie kan ek sien. Daai drie sien ek. Maar hierdie skaap en hierdie skaapkraal. Here, hy lyk 'n bietjie anders as hy sê, hey, kak soekie. I'll let you know very, very quickly. That's my son. Okay? He shall not be treated differently than anybody. Net omdat sy hare bietjie gladder is as die ander. Doesn't work like that.
It's very. I think genetics is so strange. Like my kids are like, obviously their father is white, so they're 75%. Essentially, they're 75% white. They look more white than black. But as much as they are white passing is like when they're with white, you can't tell.
Your kids look like Ronaldo Goede.
Yeah, they're white passing.
White porra look.
Yeah. So they're white passing, but Portuguese Latin usually have more of an olive skin.
Yeah,
so
olive.
They're not like
there you
pale,
go. Yeah.
But yeah, they're white passing. A white passing just means you can be with white people and people assume you are completely white, right?
Yeah.
So they're white passing, but at the same time, what's also interesting, that's why I find genetics so interesting. Nobody has ever not wondered if those kids are mine or not. It's not like me and my mother. You see, when my mother was with me, as a biracial,
yeah, your mother must just tell us the truth.
People would be like, who's the mother? With me, even though they're white passing, people just assume that I'm their mother. Nobody's ever not assumed I'm not their mother, right?
Yeah.
But here's interesting. So we're in the coast. I stayed home. I wasn't feeling so well. And then Fred was like, okay, just rest. Take some painkiller. I'll take the kids out. You don't have to cook. I'll take the kids out for lunch. And he took the kids out for lunch.
I want to hear this shit.
Yeah. So he took okay, the twins now. He took the
he
took the kids out for lunch and I stayed at home. And that's when I learned, like, he was with them in a restaurant and my son wanted to go to the bathroom and the waitress was like, I'll show you where it is. So he took it and then he was like, and then the waitress was like, oh wow, father is Frank Fredericks, like. And that's when my son was like, that's just not my father.
Yeah.
But I found it strange that there was also just a natural assumption that those were his kids as well. Obviously, they must have assumed the mother is
Yes.
light skin.
Because me and Frankie, we roll like that. Ons vat die cherries van groot winkels nie.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting that people just assumed those were his kids as well. So yeah, it's interesting. Likewise, when I'm okay with Frank's children, I don't think it's difficult because their mother is also biracial. So
Yes.
it's easy
Yeah,
to
Jessica
assume
is biracial.
Yeah, it's easy to assume that I'm also like their mother. There I can understand, but it's interesting how even when it's just me and Frank and my kids, people assume that he's their father. It's so genetics is very interesting. Yeah.
Wat sê die mense?
Yeah, kom ons lees 'n bietjie paar comments, then we go to the what's in the newspaper.
Yeah.
Somebody asked a question, says, how do you guys with birthdays if the parents are not together? I don't know, are they,
Yeah, good
and
question.
they have other partners? Is asking how do you guys deal with birthdays, or like, what do you mean? I don't understand the question.
In the beginning, I'll just
What is the
quickly
question?
answer. I think the question, what is it, he, she, who's
It's
that?
Tangeni said, how
Tangeni.
do you guys with
Deal.
birthdays?
Yeah.
Or maybe how do you deal
yeah.
with birthdays if the parents are not together?
Yeah,
And they have other partners.
yeah. It depends really on what the relationship is with your partner, I believe. If you have a cordial relationship, you can obviously alternate, over the years. Okay, hierdie jaar jy's by jou ma, volgende jaar jy's by my. Next year you're with your mother, the other year you're with me. If there's not a relationship, because then again, I'm dating Maria now. I don't want to have a birthday party with you around, okay? So, asseblief, what kind of birthday party is this? Okay, we already have
It's
baby
always sad
mama
when
drama.
the parents don't get along. Yeah.
Yes, when the parents don't get along, bly by jou kant. Okay,
Ja,
ek sal die kind kom aflei of kom lei die kind af.
Ja.
But you know what?
But how we do it is with the kids' birthdays, usually because I'm the primary caregiver, the father slots in, he comes and we arrange something. He pays for what he needs to pay for, I pay for what I need to pay for. We have a birthday party for the kids. He attends with he's married now, so he attends with his wife. And the only time we alternate is Christmases.
Ah, okay.
So I have them one Christmas Eve because he also wants to do activities with them
Of
for
course.
Christmas and with his side of the family
Yes,
as well.
yes.
So that's also important. I want to do Christmas on my side of the family. So Christmas we alternate. So I have them one Christmas, he has them the other.
Stop net daar.
Yeah.
Stop net daar. I need to ask you this question. So, your kids are with the father this Christmas, for example. Okay? The father gives them everything they want. Because that was this little honeymoon period because they were the father.
Yeah.
Daar kom hierdie bliksems terug, né? Oh, mommy, we had such a good time with daddy, and daddy bought us this, and daddy bought us that, and daddy bought us this, blah, blah, blah. Don't you sometimes feel that in the past, I wouldn't say now,
yeah.
that the father overcompensates for not being there at this specific time,
Yeah.
that the children starts feeling like, nee, my pa is eintlik die beter parent between the two, and the kids don't understand the dynamics that you are the primary caregiver.
Yeah.
Daar's nie altyd tyd vir
Yeah, yeah.
fun and
Yeah,
games nie.
Yeah, like I'm the disciplinarian, the father doesn't. He always doesn't
That's
have time
it.
to be strict because he has that limited time with them. Actually, you know what? In that regard, honestly, I've just been lucky.
Nee?
I've just been lucky with the kids that I have because I know it's so easy to fall into that trap. I've just been lucky with that my kids are very adaptable. Ek kan my kinders village toe vat and they'll just be just as happy there as they are when they go to their father and they stay in a 5-star hotel or they have the luxury. My kids are just versatile in that sense.
Wow.
And I don't know if it's just luck.
Yeah.
Or it's just how they were exposed from a very young age. Being from a very multicultural family, we just wanted them to know that they're not necessarily, even when I was with their father, I didn't want them to just feel like they are exposed to a certain lifestyle. And that's it. So from a young age already, they, were very versatile. Sometimes I take them to, like my friends who live, let's say, in less prominent areas and they can play. Like my kids are just versatile. You kind of
Yeah.
like, what else? But hulle gaan met hulle se oma village toe, nie plaas toe nie, village toe. And they have sometimes even more fun there than they do in the city. So when I moved from Fickenstein to a flat, it wasn't now we are in a smaller place. It was just like,
Adapt.
yeah, they just adapt. Like,
Yeah.
actually here it's easier because I've got friends right next door. So, yeah, very versatile. But I know that for some parents and some kids, that is a real challenge, especially when you talk about statuses are different. And let's say the kids are exposed to a certain way with one parent and another, then they feel, those differences. But I don't have that issue. I've never had that issue.
Kom ons lees gou nog 'n paar
Yeah.
comments. You read them because
All
I'm
right.
trying to refresh you.
Shora says, morning top fans and MMC fam. I love this topic. Just like Neville said, I took my wife's firstborn as my own. The day I accepted her into my life is the same day I took him as my own. I like that mentality. That's exactly how it should be. Always treat your partner as a package when they have kids. Otherwise, just moshi. Vistorine says, love the topic today. Thanks, Mary and Neville, for making this. Bradley says, yo, Maria and O Neville, thanks for this session. For a young man like me making our first anniversary this December, I am learning a lot, especially with parenting. Mohau says, I think the priority is, she's answering the question of the birthdays. I think the priority is the parents with whom the kids stay. But as the kids get older, they tend to make their own choices. Absolutely.
Janice.
Estomesh also answered to that question and says, depends on the parents. Are the kids in the same town as both parents or different countries? If it's in the same country and you get along, both parents should be there. Otherwise, celebrate different days. Yes, I think some parents also celebrate different days.
Patricia Fredericks, moenie kom familie soek hierso nie. Wie's Jay? Ja, Patricia Fredericks. Jay is nie familie nie. Asseblief, ja.
Bethy says, I can totally relate, Maria. Supermom theory is actually a killer. I also realized that I can't do it all. Do homework, bath time, clean, cook, pursue a career, etc. and still be an attentive and loving mother and partner. Don't kill yourself, ladies. Don't kill yourself, guys. You're not a failure as a mother if you prioritize yourself and your needs. You actually be a better mother for it, I find.
I like Janice's comment. Janice says, my dad's ex-wife is colored and I grew up in their house. I also refer to her as my mom, and the other kids never understand why I'm blue-black and she can pass for white. It was exhausting to explain.
Yeah, and I think I think in a society where we are so multicultural and multiracial and all these things,
Yeah.
sometimes I think don't ask.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can see how people can be curious, but you don't always have to ask and understand how a family dynamic. Is that your regte pa? No, what? Hoekom is? Don't do that, because some kids actually grew up assuming that is their biological mother and father, and everybody else is looking at them like.
But then again, then I have some white friends who intentionally decided to adopt a black baby.
Yeah.
Okay? And yes, when I first would meet them and I see this black child and
But with a black child, that's most likely adopted, so that's not a difficult one.
now stupidly you want to ask questions. So no, why do you have this child? But you're not going to be asking any.
Your eyes are asking the question.
Yeah. Why did you adopt a black child? For what? En is nie jou besigheid
Is
nie.
nie jou besigheid nie.
Bly in jou baan.
You think they don't know? Dankie says, nice topic. My firstborn says she's blessed with 2 dads. Double pocket money.
Dankie.
You know what? Can I honestly, that's what I love about it. It's like, from a little bit on what she's saying, it's like I see my kids, and obviously, like Frank and their dad are night and day, not really the same person. I mean,
Yeah.
some of the value systems are the same, but they're generally different people. He's also a very present father, and I just like that. I think the kids tap into different buckets,
Yes.
wealth.
Yes.
Like, I genuinely feel like my kids are just richer for having both of these men in their lives, because they tap in different ways. You know, they relate to their dad in one way, and they relate to Frank in another way. And I feel like both enrich their lives, and that's nice. I like that. And whether that goes to stepmom or stepdad or whatever, I think it's so nice. And that's why I never understand when the biological mother doesn't want to accept the stepmother or doesn't want to encourage that relationship.
Yeah.
Because sometimes there's really so much, like, it enriches your child's life, you know, like, yes, you're the biological mother, there's another mother in the picture now, but you need to see it as your ally. You need to see it as somebody that's going to slot in when
In
you're
a
not
perfect
around.
world, Maria, in a perfect world,
It doesn't have to be perfect. I think it's just a maturity thing.
It-
It's all just it's so possible. You just have to be mature about it. But it's just, I think the kids are so much richer because where you lack, you'll find that the other mother, say the other mother, because the other mother can slot in where you lack and vice versa. So the kids just are richer for it. But it starts with you encouraging that relationship, not discouraging it because of jealousy or envy or he left me for you or, you know, gay sal, jy wil my kinders oor or whatever. It first starts with getting over that pettiness and just being mature. And vice versa, fathers too, like vice versa.
You know what? We tried, and I'll say this with all honesty. I think between me and Mefro, we tried to assist the other parent to forge a relationship
With their children.
with the boy,
Yeah.
because it's not his son.
Yeah.
I'm saying it, okay? Because we tried in the beginning.
Yeah.
You know what? You need to be a little bit more involved.
Yeah.
You need to be a little bit more involved.
Yeah.
And you can clearly see
There's no interest.
there's a reactive approach to fatherhood.
Yeah.
Up to a point where I was like, this guy is an asshole.
Yeah.
Okay? You don't need, you don't deserve to be in his life. And for the longest time, we just decided, okay, leave it at that.
Yeah.
And I remember about 3 years ago, my son had a drink or two, and he came home and was like, Daddy, I want to know, I want to take this issue up with this guy. Why? It was like, you know what? It's really up to you.
Yeah.
Do you really want to do this? And obviously the mother, Inga just flipped.
Yeah.
Yeah, that man is useless.
Yeah.
I say,
Yeah,
honey, step aside.
Yeah.
Okay, step aside. It's about him. He needs to find closure
Yeah.
in some way or the other.
Yeah.
So he calls up this guy, and I don't give a shit. He can be seen. He can see me saying this on the stream or whatever, and I can call him out.
Yeah.
And
He's aware that that's
He's-
how you feel.
That's how we feel.
Yeah.
And I said to Emilia, "Do you want to do this?" Say, "Yeah, Daddy. I wanna ask him a few questions." So I said, "You know what? Do it."
Yeah.
So he calls up this guy, and this guy, and he's telling him, "Listen, I want to ask you a few questions. Can we meet?" Say, "Okay, that's all right. We can meet tomorrow afternoon, 3 o'clock. I'm gonna call you, and then we can meet at a coffee shop, and then we can have a discussion."
Yeah.
He stood my son up.
Yeah, that's
He
a
never
a-hole.
called.
Yeah.
He never said anything, and that was the closure
That he needed.
That he needed.
Yeah.
And then we said, you know what? This is the closure. Okay?
Yeah.
You can take this information and you can then decide what you want to do with it. Okay? That's just how it is.
Yeah. I think I'm talking in a scenario where both parents want to do the work. Because I'm not talking about parents that don't want any part of their child's upbringing. We have those parents, absent fathers, absent mothers. Likewise, more absent fathers and mothers. Like, I mean, it goes on both sides. It's also absent mothers, right?
Yeah, there's absent mothers.
So I'm not talking about absent parents. I think I'm talking about parents where biological parents that don't want their kids to forge a relationship with a step parent, quote
Yeah.
unquote, because of their own personal ill feelings towards the partner, and whether this is a man or a woman. Sometimes you find the biological father doesn't want,
Yeah.
you know.
Sowieso.
Yeah, or I don't want. What is that bee doing around my kids? You know,
Yeah.
there was a story that was going on Twitter recently where a man wanted to take his child to. I think it was even a tosha. I don't know why a tosha is so synonymous. wanted to take his child. wanted to take his child to a tosha. Came to pick up the child. The mother had prepared the child. Came to pick up the child, and then the mother saw his girlfriend coming out of the car.
Oh yeah.
And then he was like, "My honey."
That's it.
It's like, yeah, but I already planned. This
Oh.
is my weekend with a child. Nia, you didn't tell me you're going with your girlfriend. My child is not going. But the question is why? You don't know her. You don't know. Maybe they're forging something serious. Like, why would you just not want a child to spend time with their father because you don't like that he's got a girlfriend? Or is it that you don't like that he informed you? But also, what does it really have to do with you? So I'm talking about those type of scenarios.
You're busy pissing me off, nee. Yeah, you're busy pissing me off. I don't need this nostalgia you're busy with.
Yeah, have you also experienced
Ek het nie hierdie goed in my lewe nodig nie. Seriously. I think all of us is and I'm just generalizing here. A lot of guys had baby mama drama.
a lot of them, not everybody.
Yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
them. And I think the worst thing that I probably went through with baby mama drama, Tuva, I'm picking up my son at 10. Okay. Yeah, you can come optel. You can come and pick him up. So I arrive at 10 o'clock at your place. You're not there.
The child is not there.
The child is not there. No BLG. Tuva, ek is hier. Ek is by jou huis. Is 10 uur. Where are you? Oh nee, ons het gebesluit ons gaan Alwyn se huis toe. Kom kry ons by Alwyn se huis. Is julle daar? Ja. You drive to Alwyn's house. Yes, Alwyn. Ek soek vir Tuva. Is hulle nie hier nie? Nee, hulle was net gou hierso, maar hulle is, ek dink hulle is
So
Marie
he's
se
giving you
huis
the
toe.
run around.
Giving you the runaround to deliberately frustrate
Frustrate
you so that jy die aftog blaas, so you just give up.
Yeah. And then they say you don't want to be in your child's life.
And you don't want to be in your child's life. Yes, I went through that a few times, okay? But because of the love that I have for my son, and I said to myself, just because we don't have a relationship anymore,
Yeah.
I'm not going to let you in any which way. Yeah.
And that's an honest
You
take.
will not break me.
That's an honest take. Because I've seen a lot of men use like, yeah, I can't have a relationship with my child because the mother. I feel like if a man really wants
Yo,
to,
jelle jippe.
if you really want to, you will do anything and everything that is required to be in your child's life. Even the mother won't stop you, even if it means approaching the courts. Okay, nobody can tell me. I think it's a cop out for parents that don't want to be involved to say, oh, the mother has made
cop-out.
it. It's a cop out. It's absolute cop
I
out.
will fight you.
Yes.
I will not physically fight you.
Nobody can keep my kids away from me. Please, let's not.
I
even try.
will fight you.
Yeah.
I got some friends who the mother's family decided to take the child away, and another family adopts the child or whatever, and he left it at that.
Yeah.
I'll fight you.
Yeah.
I will fight you legally. I'll be like Winston Churchill. We'll fight you in the volleyball courts. We'll fight you on the mountains. We'll fight you in the pools. We'll fight you everywhere. We shall not surrender until we get what we want.
Yeah.
Co-parenting.
No, yeah.
Wat sê die
that's-
mense?
Kom ek lees 'n paar comments. You guys are quite active and engaging here.
I see.
There is, I think, say, I never see it in Namibia, black parents adopting a white child in Katutura. That child will be called the day walker.
Wie is hy?
Raymond Basson.
Hey, jy's dom, J.
And somebody asked, can a black family in Namibia adopt a white child? And somebody
Yeah.
says, yes, they can. I have a friend who's white but adopted by a black family. It doesn't happen often, we will say that. But also in most shelters, there aren't a lot of white babies to adopt. Let's just also put it there. Estomi says, single moms tend to overcompensate. If the father ain't present, you buy gifts as mom and dad. Don't do it. It's a trap. Give what you can as a single mom or dad. Yes. Okay, people are just answering Franco Jose about can a black family adopt a child, and everybody's saying yes, they can.
This Van Wyk, woo! But this bitter new girlfriends and wives, though, I don't understand. The guy chilling with the new person, but you bitter cause you still want him. But poor kids must now suffer. Eves also.
Yeah.
If there's one thing, and yes, it is a joke, but if there's one thing that I ask guys out there, and I'm very, very serious about this. Maria, sometimes guys, if they, and this has happened to some of my friends, sometimes guys, because he has the standoff with baby mama, and he can't see his child, she uses that as a little pea trap. Okay? If you don't sleep with me, you will not see your son. And a lot of guys keep on
Falling into that
staying in that vicious cycle of sleeping with baby mama so that I can see my child. That is like 7 minutes. Okay, 7 minutes. Okay, decide how much minutes. Yes. My reference, my personal reference is 3 minutes. Okay? That's my reference. Chilla can't besluit whether Chilla's a reference. But again, you know what? Don't do that. You either here or you are there.
It also blurs the lines. That's when they become also entitled to your life and everything.
Blurs the lines.
Gister wat jy met my was, wat jy nie kon
Hallo,
sê,
Secho.
Yeah.
Say it again. Say it loud. What do women say?
Yesterday when you were with me, gister wat jy saam met jy
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
'n bietjie skampe gooi.
And then she uses that with your new girlfriend.
Yes, of course.
Hy was hier.
Yeah.
Hey,
Where do you
hey.
think he is when he's not with you?
Oh, I love that one. Where do you think he is when he's not with you? Stupid, guys. Stupid. Don't do
Deshaun
that.
says, Maria, your gender just love violence. Just give the guy the child. Why must we fight domestic violence always?
Yeah, ne?
Did
Did you read the comment of Eddie where she says, when parents are separated and unmarried, is the kids better off with the mom or dad? This is so confusing. When the child is under 18, does it mean the mom has full custody or can they have shared custody? I've seen so many parents fight about this. Yeah, true.
Let me explain. Usually, in most scenarios, or natural scenario, the mother would be the primary caregiver. But you also find in instances where the father is a better parent as the primary caregiver, and that is something that can be resolved either through a court, through lawyers, through just decision between the two parents who's perhaps better equipped. Because I sometimes find that the mother cannot care for the child. She would rather have sent her child to her mom's than to allow than to allow the father to raise the child as the primary caregiver, which doesn't make sense. Obviously, I think best case scenario, if the child can't be with the mother, then the child should be with the father.
Yes.
Right? Best case scenario. Unless, of course, the father is abusive or vice versa. But I'm saying that would be the best case scenario. But why would you rather have your child at your mother's house than at the father's house just because you don't like the idea of him raising the child? Not because of anything that is a bad father or whatever, just because you don't like him, or what he did to you. And I think for a lot of people, we need to make that distinction between what a person did to you and how they are to their child. Because sometimes
they don't see the difference.
Yeah, they don't see the difference. And that's so unfortunate, because a lot of times you can acknowledge that somebody is a good father. Maybe they were a crappy partner, But you can acknowledge that they're a good mother or good father. That one doesn't change. They're consistent with their children. They've poured themselves into their present fathers or present mothers. But they were crappy partners. You need to make that distinction. It doesn't mean because they were crappy partners, they're going to be crappy parents.
Tuva, how did you come to, not that you didn't realize it, but I guess you knew from the start that your child's father is a good father.
I knew that before I had children with him.
Before you had children with him. So it was a no-brainer for you, as you guys separated, that if our kids are in your hands, I know they're in a good space.
So obviously, I was privileged enough to have kids when I wanted them, when they were planned and everything. It wasn't accidental. But also one thing I've always been clear about, I was, you see, growing up, I was never sure about whether marriage would be for me, whether I would have this great love of my life, whatever. I knew I wanted kids. And I always knew I wanted kids with a good father, with a good man. Not necessarily a good man to me, a good man to the kids. Right? And by that extension will also be a good man to the mother of his kids, right? That's always something that I was very intentional about in my life, because I always felt like, you know what, even if this relationship doesn't work out, it would be nice if it works out, but even if this relationship doesn't work out, I would like a man that I know will remain a consistent force in his children's life. And so I was very intentional with that. And that's why I'm saying I knew the father of my kids would be a good father, because I saw how he had been previously married, he already had a daughter, and I could see how he was with his daughter, and I knew that that's the type of father I wanted for my kids. And I wasn't wrong about that, thank goodness, because sometimes men can surprise you. But thank goodness I wasn't wrong about that. And even after we separated, for us it's just been easy, because when it comes to the both of us, the kids have just been the priority with us too. So he's not interested in who I'm dating. He just trusts me to make the best decisions, and I trust that he'll make the best decisions for the kids with his partner, that he's not going to marry somebody that's, for example, going to mistreat the children. He's going to marry somebody that loves his children. I've always known that, and I know he trusts me to do the same as well. So it's just easy. That was not that is not a relation that's been very stressful in my life, I must say,
Yeah.
So,
Let me quickly read a few comments. Vanessa Kuibeb says, "Julle moet oppas met wie julle kinders kry. It's such a big life decision."
Absolutely.
Des van Wyk says, "I dig a man that goes miles for his kids, wife or girlfriend or not, here and there and active." Stefanus, jy moet gaan cheap. Ja, los me uit. Ja, los me uit. Guys, check out women and child abuse centers where they so many kids removed from negligent mothers, abusive couples. It's a sad reality. That's from Des. Vanessa Koibeb says again here, another heartbreaking scenario, parents with kids from more than one person but neglect some and are involved with others. How do you differentiate between your kids?
Yeah.
Wow. Vedi says, guys, thank you for always sharing your real life situations. Makes you all relatable. This is what sets the show apart. Raymond Besson, a woman that used a kid or a child to get back at the father because he have another girlfriend or wife is just plain stupidness. Yeah.
Van Wyk there says, but the dads though, how you want to ask permission from your wife to see your kids, and when she says no, you don't spend time. We have weak men out here, but they loud. And then Raymond says, a woman that uses a child to get back at the father because he have other girlfriends or wife is just, okay, you read that, right? There was I think somebody else made a comment further up.
Estomish say here, yes, and forgetting their own kids from the previous relationship. The worst are those who come back when you are rich or famous.
Can I want to bring this a little bit, this is not a woman's fault, but I just want to bring it a little bit closer to home, right?
Yeah.
How are women, I'm speaking to women because I think it's often a mistake or something we overlook, you know? If you're dating a man that is absent in his kids' lives, for whatever reason, he can tell you, oh, he's got baby mama drama or whatever.
Oh, yes. Ek wil hoor.
Yeah, if you're dating a man that is absent in his other kid's life, what makes you think you're going to be special?
Hallo.
I know that, we let love take over those emotions, but what makes you think you're going to be different if you have a child with him?
Hallo.
I think women fall in love with the idea of I'm special, I'm different, he'll be different with me. And then they find out eventually that he's already shown you the blueprint. He's already showed you how he treats people that he's no longer in love with. He already shows you how he treats his baby mamas that he's no longer with. So when you become somebody that he no longer loves or somebody he's no longer with, you're just going to be like the rest. He's shown you. So I just think pay a little bit more attention. And I also don't, further to that, you find sometimes a woman is married to a man and he's neglecting, they have a child together and he's neglecting his other children. Again, this is not on women, but I'll take it from a cultural perspective because of how we are taught culturally, right? As a woman, it is your duty as his wife, right? It's not your responsibility. Please, I'm not giving you that burden. It's not your responsibility. But how nice if you realize that those other kids are your child's half siblings.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
In African culture, there's not even a distinction, really. Half siblings, steps, they're your children's siblings, brothers or sisters. If your partner is not going to make that move and try and have his kids more around, try to take on that initiative to bring the kids under one roof occasionally. Holiday times, try to bring the other kids if you can. Form a relationship with the mothers of the other children and try and bring them, because your children, so that your children can also have a relationship with the other siblings.
And if you, the new girlfriend or wife, also don't allow
Yeah.
me
That's unfortunate what happens.
to bring my children
Yeah.
into this house, that my children have equal rights as the children
Yeah.
that we have
Yeah.
in this house, then there's something wrong
Yeah.
with the dynamics
Yeah.
of our relationship.
Yeah. I think a lot of couples tend to feel, okay, I'm married to him, so my kids are the ones that are special, right? Forgetting that all these other kids are also blood relatives. They're also his kids.
Hello.
And yes, it should be the man's responsibility to ensure that all the kids get equal attention and that he's there for all of them. But I'm just saying, in the event that you married an a-hole that's just not geared like that, then just take that bit of initiative and try and bring that family dynamic together. It's so important.
Let's read a few comments before we got a guest who's going to come into the studio for about 10 minutes. Let's just quickly read a few comments. Alfredo Ramapankan says, if you are an absent deadbeat father or mother, don't bother trying to pop up back in the child's life when they grow up and start working, trying to score favors from the child. Strawberry Mecca says, you will never be special to that man, because you will just be like any other woman. Need to wake up and choose wisely who their kid's father will be. Yes, disagree with you,
Yeah.
Maria. If you date a man that don't maintain his child, you're just another victim. Raymond, gaan speel fair.
That's what your 3 minutes.
Luister, Maria, let me just share you a little secret. Nee?
Yeah.
A very quick secret. Okay, and there are some guys, and don't lie, don't think this has never happened to you. Sometimes when I'm with you, nee, and we are together, my anxiety and excitement is, luister my mooi, the anxiety and excitement is so much. Ons het nog nie eens mekaar aangeraak nie.
Langklas.
Oh. And you're like, okay, no, go. Los eers nee. I respect you. I don't want us to do anything. Klaar. Die tire het klaar gebars. Just
Yeah.
as he sits there.
Estamisha's advice, we just said Neville needs to go to the men's conference next year.
I will. Okay.
Yeah, we have guests, guys. So serious that topic.
Jealous, useless. We're going to be having a guest in the studio. Hold that thought, guys. Hold that thought. My brother, good morning. Good morning. You may have a seat. You may have a seat. Cutie, you can come inside. Yeah, mamuni kom aangaan hierso. Yeah, just stand over
How are
there.
you?
Yeah. We have a guest in the studio this morning. His name is Shaki Timburwa, a gentleman hailing all the way from Zimbabwe. We're going to have a chat on leadership. Hails from Zimbabwe. Shaki lists as a Forbes Africa 30 under 30, as well as the Pan-African Leadership 100 most influential young leaders. Shaki, I first just want you to stand up again. Can you just stand up again? Okay. Yarr.
Guys,
Yeah,
you
we're
know I'm
live.
tall, right? You know I'm tall. Wait. I'm
Wait
wearing
a
my heels,
minute.
by the way.
Yeah.
So,
I'm taller than you, obviously.
no,
Yeah.
I want a reference point for them. They know I'm tall. So
Shaki.
this is very
I'm
tall.
1.98.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow,
You know
okay.
this
So tall,
nonsense,
man.
ne? You know, I don't like men who come into my studio who are taller than me. I feel intimidated immediately. Yeah. I just have one question to ask you.
Sure.
Were you born over a long weekend?
I was born over a long weekend.
It's by a dome.
Shaki,
Shaki.
welcome to our show.
You can put on that.
And it's really a pleasure to welcome you to Namibia.
Can you hear me?
All the way from Zimbabwe.
They call it the land of the brave.
Namibia is the land of the brave.
Yeah, I'm saying they call it the land
Yeah,
of
the
the
land
Yeah.
of the brave. I thought you were saying Zim is. So
No.
is it
You-
Saki Shaki?
No,
Shaki.
it's Shaki.
Shaki.
Yeah,
Is he a
I
Vambuni?
just wanted to make sure it wasn't a spelling error now.
Asni,
No.
okay, the black people, the majority tribe here in Namibia is the Ovambo people. And most of their names are Saki. So
Yeah,
when I saw your name, I said, no, this guy is Zimbabwean. It can't be Saki. This is Shaki. Yeah.
Maybe that's my
Shaki.
second name, Saki.
Yeah. So you are from the land of the people of stone.
Definitely.
That is what Zimbabwe mean.
Definitely.
In Oshierero, and that's why these languages, Shona and Oshierero, are very closely related. In Oshierero, we call it Omawe, Imawe,
The Maui.
Imawe,
And in Zimbabwe, they call it Madzimbabwe.
Madzimbabwe.
Exactly.
See how easy
Yeah.
languages such as
Wow. That is so interesting. Shaki, you need to give us a little bit of background about yourself and about your travels in terms of entrepreneurship
True.
and what brought you to Namibia.
The land of the brave.
the land of the brave.
Definitely.
Mm.
Definitely. So, Sheki Timburwa is my name. I was born in Zimbabwe, and I'm a 29-year-old right now. I turned 29 in May. And business-wise, I have establishments in energy. That's your clean energy, hydro, solar, and LPG gas. I also have an establishment in mining. I have a mining consortium. We specialize in gold mining. We specialize in copper, manganese, and some of the base metals and commodities. And then I have a construction company that specifically specializes in cluster homes and low to medium housing for civil servants, like just giving them decent homes to stay. So we are working in Zim, we are working with our government. We have a contract that we are working with also the government of India to build about 10,000 units for the civil servants in Zimbabwe. And then that's about it. And then I have other establishments, but I'm not really muchly involved, but I have done investments in those. And if time and chance happen properly, I can also do that too. Some startups in Namibia. I'm looking forward to support other young people. You know why? For me to be where I am, there are people who are also patient with me. There are people who also trusted me with their monies when I was not trustworthy. There are people who saw value when no one saw value. So where am I not to also do the same?
I need to ask you one question.
Definitely.
Yeah. Are you a ZANU-PF member? Because how does a 29-year-old man achieve so much?
Do you know, let me
You
tell
can only be ZANU-PF.
Let me tell you something.
We asked this question.
Definitely.
Yeah.
You know what?
We wanna
Most people-
know.
ZANU-PF, to those that don't know, ZANU-PF is the oldest political party in our country.
Yes.
Yeah, so what happens is that there's a narrative that whenever you're successful in anything, in any country or in any economy, you are affiliated to the ruling party. But I beg to differ in the sense that you have to be smart enough how to support the government, not the political party.
Yes.
So I'm a person who relates with the government that is ruling, and unfortunately in our country we have known one political party for the past 40 years. I was born in that room and we're still in there. So like now in Zimbabwe there is a new regime, there is a new government that is there, though it's still under PF. But you can even see the new projects. Personally, my ideology of good leadership, I look at the projects that are being done for the betterment of the lives of the citizens, not the slogans that are chanted on the podium.
Pambili Chimurenga.
Yeah, no. I don't believe in that. I believe in a pragmatic policy that is being implemented by the government. Are they making the education system better? Are they making the medical field better? Are they making the transportation better? Are they making the livelihoods of the citizens better? I hate politics whereby it's only the oligarchs who are taking money because they want to satisfy their own greed. I don't believe in that. And that's one thing that is destroying Africa.
All right. So, Shaki, what brings you to Namibia? What brings you to the land of the brave?
What brought me to Namibia is that I happen to be part of a chamber, a global business chamber that is called JCBL. What that organization does, or that institution does, is that it's formulated by different doyens and different companies and different venture capitalists. What these guys do, they are sitting on a portfolio of trillions, but they don't want to be directly involved in their investments. So they trusted the global business chamber for the investments that happen across the globe. So this institution, they have an establishment in Asia, they have an establishment in India, they have establishment in America, and they have establishment in Europe, but they didn't have an establishment in Africa. So I happened to then met the chairman in Dubai sometime, I think about 3 years ago. We sat down, we spoke, we talked. I told him, you know what, Africa has got the biggest youth bulge. When you talk about almost 60 to 70% of the Africans are youth. So if you are talking about free labor, cheap labor, energetic labor, and also not even mentioning about the ubiquitous amount of minerals we have in Africa, the raw materials we need in Africa that are needed globally. You guys have to shift your focus and focus on Africa. But my bid or my lobby for Africa is we want investors who come not to exploit us, but who come to also add value in our continent. They come not to take our products as crude, but the value addition has to happen. If it's diamond, it has to happen in Namibia. If it's gold mining, whatever it is, they have to come, put in infrastructure, put in furnaces, put in like plants that can also create employment to our youth. So they succumbed to that ideology. So they pushed for an agenda for them to also have an HQ in Africa, and then they start investments in different countries. So they support any government, any company, any institution. Like for example in Namibia, we are looking at the post-COVID era. What's going to be Namibia in the next 2 years after COVID? How is going to be the tourism of Namibia? Like in that institution, we have the vice chairperson of the World Tourism Organization. We have the secretary of WHO, who is part of that people. So we then benefit from their expertise, and then they come and they help us how we can make our governance in Africa be able to also compete on a global platform.
I have a question now.
Sure.
When it comes to natural resources, why is it that we're always, I understand you're saying invest here, but why do we always look to foreigners? Are we saying the expertise is not available locally?
The expertise, we have it locally, but one thing that is needful in Africa is that our innovation is very behind. There is a very big gap between Africa and other continents, whether we talk about energy, whether we talk about mining. I'll give you an example in energy. Other continents, they are struggling right now when it comes to clean energy in automobile. They are talking about infrastructure for supporting the Teslas. They're talking about all sorts of things. But in Africa, we don't even have one country that has managed to make their whole country a well-consolidated system of supplying LPG gas, just like we have in America. Like the same way we have smart meters for electricity. We don't even have one country in Africa that has got smart meters. The whole of the country, people are using LPG gas as clean energy. So you find that generational gap, that technological gap, we need it bridged. And how do we bridge that? We invite the leading countries to come to Africa, and then they also start to train in our institutions. I'll give you an example. Like for example, Namibia is a very good climate when it comes to agriculture and raining. which means we have to have a relationship between Namibia and Israel. Why Israel? Israel is the biggest country when it comes to agro-technology. They do precision agriculture. They do agriculture in a desert. You have a desert here. How can they come and then there is a synergy between the environment of Namibia and the environment of Israel? Those are the relationships that we need. People who are coming to develop our, like if you look at Israel, it's almost 17 size. We can fit 17 Israeli nations in Namibia. But let's look at the GDP of Israel. Vis-a-vis the GDP of Namibia. So those kind of synergies, those are the ones we need. People are also coming to Africa to add value on our people. So it's not like we don't have innovation, we don't have the people, we don't have anything. We have everything that we need in Africa, but we need that enhancement of these people that are already leading the innovative space.
Obviously, Maria is here to ask all the smart questions.
Definitely.
And I'm just here to poke at you.
Definitely, not a problem.
That's
I like it.
all I do.
I like it.
Yeah, because you know what? I take some of the comments here in the stream, I take it very personal.
Sure.
Because I just need to ask you quickly, Shaki, when are you leaving the country?
I'm leaving the country on the 1st of November.
Okay, because I just need to explain to you, the demographics of Namibia says Namibian women outnumber Namibian men 1 to 5. Okay?
Okay.
So for each and every Namibian man,
Yes, there are 5
there's
wives.
a possibility of 5 women for myself.
Okay.
Okay, so women in the comments are asking that we must ask you, are you happy at home? That's the first question that they are asked. And somebody's asking, ladies, here are your tall, dark, skinny, and handsome guy. Okay? So I don't need this nonsense in my studio.
Okay.
You need to leave because we don't want competition.
But competition makes it interesting.
All right, let me read the more serious comments. Okay, we have Teshon. Okay, this one is not as serious, but Teshon says, I swear, if that opens a political party in Namibia, I think it means if you open a political party in Namibia, everyone will go vote. Matthew says, listen to this man, please. So there is much we can learn, we as African people.
Yeah.
Franco Jose says, the late Gaddafi tried innovating Africa to unite and use its resources and expertise against world-leading countries like Arabs. Look what happened to him. Shaki is a middleman for the Arabs.
Can I? Okay, I'm a middleman for the Arabs. Okay, let me show you something. I think last week, the whole of last week, I was in Dubai. There was the GITEX Expo, which is the biggest global technological expo. So I went there representing Africa, and I was a keynote speaker. And one thing that I learned, or one thing that I loved about the Arabs. Okay, let me give a scope of my ideology, coming from what he mentioned or what she mentioned about Gaddafi.
It's a him here.
Yeah, we have the likes of Gaddafi, we have the likes of Patrice Lumumba, we have the likes of Kwame Nkrumah, we have the likes of Thomas Sankara. I've done the research, a consolidated research of all these individuals. If you realize, he's talking about Dubai, he's talking about Arab Emirates. They call it United Arab Emirates. These guys, they were shattered. These guys were broke before they formulated the United Emirates of Arab. They realized the power of them complementing each other as Emirates, not competing.
Yeah.
Let's talk about India. India has got more than 1.3 billion. They've got one president.
Yeah.
Let's talk about China. China has got more than 1.2 billion people. They've got one president. What we are calling presidents and prime ministers here in America, they are governors and they are mayors. You see, so the moment we compete against each other as countries in Africa, we are slowing down our progress. We are supposed to have one consolidated education system. Well, okay, let me give you an example. In China, if they want to study science, they study in Mandarin. Everything is written in Chinese. Why don't we have our own Namibians studying biology, science, everything, geology in our Shwambo language? Why?
Isn't that what Kwame Nkrumah wanted and it just never happened?
The problem is because we have people who are trying to protect their own interest. I would rather have my own country that I'm ruling rather than having this big thing and we have one.
And also,
leader.
who's going to be the president of Africa?
No,
Yeah.
Everybody is a power struggle.
Yeah.
You know, that's where I say that's the biggest problem of Africa. Instead of us, okay, let me try to put this ideology down and lay it down. Almost every country in Africa has got an ubiquitous amount of resources. Let's talk about DRC, let's talk about Congo, let's talk about Rwanda, let's talk about Ghana. Which means every president right now, he has got a very good fiscal economy that they can operate on. The issue is not about having a leader. Okay, right now we already have a leader. Who's the leader of the African Union? That person is the leader, is the person who's leading Africa right now. It's an indirect leadership position, but that person is leading Africa.
Absolutely.
So we should have a consolidated system of protecting every country in Africa not to be exploited individually and independently. I'll give you an example. Let's say Namibia is exploited by a foreign country. Zimbabwe should fight for the rights of the Namibians. South Africans should fight for the rights of Namibians. But right now, the position we are in, what's happening in Gambia doesn't concern me because I'm in Zimbabwe.
Exactly.
What's happening in Nigeria doesn't concern me because I'm a Zimbabwean. Look at what is happening in Nigeria when you talk about SARS. People are being abused, there are so many things. Let's look about Boko Haram. But what we don't realize is that once we have one weak link in Africa, it's a problem for all of us. It's a big problem for all of us. Look at the COVID. If we have one country that is not dealing with COVID, the whole continent of Africa is going to suffer because there is migration happening. I'm coming from, look at this, I'm coming from Dubai. I went into South Africa. Now I'm in Namibia. Let's say there is no checking system in South Africa if I'm right, which means I'm going to cross into Namibia with something that I'm coming with from Dubai. Which means our system has to be properly integrated. And the reason why it seems like it's impossible is because there are hands under the table.
Not too much xenophobia.
Yes, there are hands under the table of the African country. There are people who are enjoying the benefits of Africa being disunited
Of course.
simply because they know. Okay, I'll give you an example of what's happening in there was a recent coup that happened
It's in Guinea?
in Guinea.
Guinea.
Do you know why it happened? Because after Australia, Guinea has got the biggest deposit of bauxite. Bauxite is going to be the next biggest thing because of the clean energy and the vehicles that are coming. So before we see the power play in place, let's look at the mineral that the country holds. So we might, have you ever wondered why we've got so many coups that are happening in Africa? There's a pattern behind that. And if Africans, we are not, the change that we need in Africa should predominantly come from Africans. I don't have any problem with these vaccines that are coming, Moderna, Pfizer and stuff like that. But believe you me, Africans, we can develop our own vaccine.
With, elephant dung.
Exactly. Look at Madagascar. Madagascar, they did the same.
Yeah.
And if you try to look at it, the whole narrative or the whole issue, I'll tell you this and I'll repeat this. Africa is the biggest continent globally. Africa has got the power, but the reason why we are not able to do that, we are being leveraged by people who are smart. If you want, I can even go to the Bible. Let me give you just a bit. Look at this. There's a scripture that talks about Esau and Jacob. Esau and Jacob, they were two nations in their mother's womb. Two nations and two people. The other one was born red, which means Edom. The other one was black, and hypothetically speaking, they say it represents us as Africa. If you look at it, they say the other one was a skilled hunter, that's Esau, and the other one was a cunning man, that's Jacob. He was a mild man, a man of the brains. And look what happens. What does a hunter do? During that time, a hunter, you cannot hunt after 10 animals. You can only go after one. And the most painful thing about a hunter is that after getting that which he sweated for, they kill the result. Right? Look at Africa. We are hardworking people. We are resilient people. But after we have discovered our minerals, we kill the result. We don't do value addition here. It lives here as a crude product. In Botswana, they recently discovered the second largest diamond. But I bet that was not processed in Botswana. That was processed in England because that's where De Beers is.
It came back processed.
It came back processed,
for us to buy it processed, the price we pay, and the price they
You've
pay
lost,
for them. Exactly. So you see, we have got a generation of people. We are blessed by God. but we are not fully exploiting that which we have for the beneficiation of the citizens of Africa. I can tell you, the population of Namibia and the resources that God has blessed Namibia with has got capacity to make every Namibian
Rich.
$1 million. Not in Namibian dollars, but in US dollars. Namibia has got the capacity to make every citizen of this country a millionaire.
Yeah, but some people want 10 million, so
Yeah.
that leaves some people with nothing.
Yeah, I think
And Glovo, how do you say his name?
Shaki.
Kini. No.
Oh,
Glovo-
Kini.
Kini, sorry, Kini. I think it's also from Zimbabwe, right?
No.
South Africa and Zimbabwe.
Excuse me, those are two different countries.
Yeah, Kini is South African Zimbabwean.
Oh, yeah. No, you're right.
Yes.
No, you're right.
Yes.
Yeah,
he's a regular, by the way.
Yeah.
He had a question. He says, how do you relate to a fellow young man who has made inroads like Simba Muriro?
Simba Morino.
Yeah.
Simba Moriro is my kinsman. He's also into energy and he's doing very well. One of the biggest positions, one of the biggest discussions that he's ever done, he once had a meeting with the president of Russia, Putin, and he's a very great guy.
He's like in his early 30s, I understand
Yeah,
when he's like,
definitely, definitely. You know, Simba is intelligent, extremely intelligent, and he has a niche that he's cutting across. And if, you know, the problem with us Africans, like for example, Simba is in alternative energy, I'm also in alternative energy. I should not look at myself as a competitor to him.
Yes.
I should complement what he's doing. He should
Absolutely.
complement what he's doing.
Compliment.
Yeah.
But Africans, you see what we do. It's just like even our artists.
One bull in the crowd.
Exactly. The reason why we don't have so much collabos in Africa happening is because they are competing each other. Look, why do we need to go to America to be awarded? Why?
Yeah.
Look at what is happening in Africa right now. If you check, almost every week we have got a private plane that is leaving Africa with the president of Africa going to attend an African summit in a European country, an African summit in an American country, an African summit in an Arab country.
Yeah.
Why can't we make these summits? You know, I posed this question when I was on the panel in GITEX. I said, you guys, we are coming here for a technological expo. You guys already have exhausted technology. You can look around and you can see. Why are you not migrating this same baobab tree of technology
Yeah,
and
yeah.
have it in Africa?
Yeah.
But in Africa, we have to create an environment whereby people feel safe with their investment. They should stop this confiscation of properties. You know, this is how I analyze investment opportunities. The moment I see Namibians, anyone who makes money in Namibia, his cars, his properties are confiscated. As a foreigner, I'm very skeptical. If you can't protect your own, then it means you will never be able to protect me. So it's not about the issue of money. Money is everywhere. This I can bet. There is a person right now willing to invest $1 trillion in Namibia. What they are so particular about is my investment. Is it going to be safe?
Yeah.
How do they analyze the safety
Yeah.
of their investment? They look at how you have treated
Yeah.
your locals and how you have treated other companies that you have worked with. It's not about money. Money is everywhere. If we make the environment right.
How do we make a conducive environment for investors?
Firstly,
And how do we then ensure that when those investors are there, that then the locals are protected? Because I guess that's the other thing. If everybody's coming in with their own agenda, then how do you also protect the country?
Any investment that is coming externally out of Namibia has to be for the best interest of the Namibian citizens, not government. If they don't have citizens at heart, they should not invest their money in our country.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So if they are coming to invest, let's say in the coast, they want to come to the coast and they want to put a very beautiful hotel. Let's start talking about the people who are going to build the hotel. They have to be Namibians. Yes, you have your technical team that is coming for the expertise and stuff like that, but don't bring your whole crew from Europe to come and build a hotel in Namibia. Train our
Exactly.
people so that after this one, they can also do another one alone. We have got students that are at universities, they learn architect, they come and they plug into this kind of a big thing that is happening in Namibia. So you realize that before we know it, our people are getting trained, our people are getting exposed, our people are also getting to know the know-how of being competitive on a global platform.
Shaki, very interesting. I think we're about to wrap up. I think maybe in conclusion, any final message that you would like to send out to Namibians out there?
Thank you so much. I would say, firstly, Namibia is a very beautiful country. It's really
Thank
a beautiful
you.
country. And
First time?
it's my second time.
Okay.
Yeah. And one thing that I can say is I have a privilege of meeting His Excellency Hagi tomorrow.
Okay.
And believe you me, every discussion that I've ever had with any president, it's for the betterment of the people that
Yeah.
they are leading. And Namibia is full of potential. Namibia is full of, if I'll give an example. Imagine having an open skies policy for Namibia, whereby we widen. I was looking at, when I was landing at
Hosea Kutako.
Hosea Kotako. Right, when I was landing at the airport, I realized how vast the land is around the airport.
Absolutely.
Imagine having more than 50 terminals at that airport, and we have an open skies policy whereby any flight from anywhere can land in Namibia. Before you know it, we now have a global hub.
Are you going to tell this to our president?
Definitely.
We just want to know, so if we hear him speaking, we know where the idea came from.
Yeah. Imagine, this vast country here. We have this wide open spaces. You know how many planes can land here in Namibia, okay? Me and the SWAPO think tank, in SWAPO, we decided this is what we're going to do.
Thank you so much.
Okay, then we will know where it comes from.
So you see, imagine making that kind of a setup for Namibia. How many beds are going to be coming in? How many flights are going to be chatting in? And the moment you have that kind of an infrastructure, you need supporting infrastructure for accommodation, because they are connecting flights. There are people who are supposed to go into hotels. Before you know it, that place will have at least 7 to 10 5-star hotels, because you're dealing with global workers.
Yeah.
Look at where the desert meets the sea. Why not have a harbor there?
No, we want to keep it natural.
Yes.
What do you
No.
mean?
Yes,
We want it
keeping
natural.
natural is not a problem, but at the end of the day, if our people are suffering, when God has blessed that with, you see, okay, I'll give you a very good example. We have Vic Falls in Zimbabwe, Seven Wonder, very beautiful. But it's high time that thing also has to be involved with technology. The only activity that happens there is bungee jumping. But why can't they put a theme park there? Imagine just having a cast on Netflix that is coming to have a film at Vic Falls, to have a film in the desert, in the coast. You've got the oldest desert in the whole world. That's money right there. That's revenue right there. Imagine Empire Season, just them coming to have one episode in the desert.
Now we just have camel
Yeah.
rides there and quad biking.
So you see, that's how we can over. So I would say to every Namibian who's listening to me, I was a person who was born in the ghetto, in the dust streets of the ghetto, and believe you me, life is full of possibilities. There is nothing impossible. According to me, impossible is the new possibility. So we can always change whatever we want. Namibia has got the power to become the leading country or the vanguard of Africa when it comes to having a solid infrastructure in a desert place, because we've got the biggest desert in Namibia. So it's not Namibian desert, it's African desert, it's our desert. Definitely.
It's just my personal opinion before we end the show. I think Zimbabweans need to change that name Victoria Falls to what the name used to be.
Definitely.
Before they
Muswatunya.
arrived. Before they arrived here.
Muswatunya.
Muswatunya.
Definitely.
Okay.
And
So
you look what is happening.
Hopefully in our lifetime.
Look at what they are doing in Europe and in America. Those slave masters, little by little, their statues are being taken down.
Yeah.
I thank you.
We need to decolonize
Very
Africa.
true.
Yeah.
Very, 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 very true.
Thank you so much.
Shaki Timburwa, all the way from Zimbabwe. My brother, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I think as a young 29-year-old progressive African, there's so much that our fellow Namibians and anybody who's watching our stream can learn from you. I believe, is there a particular program where we can follow what you're going to be doing in Namibia, a platform?
Sure.
I know I'm not gonna. She wasn't prepared for this, but I believe Poya Media
Definitely.
was instrumental in facilitating your visit here. So I'm gonna call Ilke Plat to come around.
Definitely.
Yeah, and you're live now.
AKA cutie.
Yeah, so you can't say no. No. You're just gonna come and stand here next to me. Just come.
You can say no.
Yeah, you can just come and stand here next to me in closing. So it's difficult to. I've always known you as Cutie. Okay, that's been your name for the longest time. But it's Ilke Plat now. Okay, we need to be professional about it. So Ilka, maybe you can just share with us just very, very quickly as to how Shaki's program would look like for the time that he's going to be here. Where maybe there are some Namibians who would like to network with him.
Sure.
No, I mean, we've been back to back. Neville, we woke up at 4:30 this morning. Good morning. All the other radio stations, print. We are rushing to other media houses today. So today's the media tour. We identified various stakeholders like the Office of the President. For those entrepreneur startups, I read the comments as well. For those that want to be part of, entrepreneurship, we have a public lecture on Thursday, online, Zoom. So just watch our social media handles. Nust, he's got an open starting pitch day to help startups, the tips on how to pitch your business proposal, how to get investors
And the money's
to your
available.
country. And he might, invest in one of the businesses. And then we also have engagement with One Economy during this week. So for those that want to follow the page, Poya Media, Neville, thank you, Mommy. We enjoyed the show. All right, great stuff.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Ilka, thank you so much.
And
Shaki.
many thanks to the universities for allowing us to have public lectures.
Sure.
That's very instrumental.
So enjoy your time here in Namibia. We will definitely be following what you will be doing here in the country.
Sure.
And then we can just wish you well.
Definitely.
All the
Yeah.
best.
I call it my second home.
Yay!
It's
Hey.
a good second.
After
home.
the show, I will look for you because I need 5 women.
Pambili.
Thank you so much. Thank
Guys,
you
thank you
All
so
right, guys,
much.
That's our show.
We've went a little bit over
Yeah, we
time,
went
but I
a
think
little
everybody
bit.
enjoyed.
It was worth it.
Yeah.
Tune in tomorrow. We have another guest tomorrow.
No, we don't have a guest tomorrow.
guest
We're going to be discussing what we said we're going to be discussing.
Yeah.
Today, we will talk
Tune in
about it
tomorrow for a very controversial discussion.
tomorrow.
Have a good one, guys. Ek moet gaan.
Is Informanté Radio.